Hey guys, it's Sean here, and in this video, we're going to talk about the three-step pre-sale funnel. All right, so this is a funnel I've been using since I've started CPA marketing almost a decade ago now at the time of this video. And honestly, this is a page I built with Flow Funnels that is very, very similar to pages that I utilize in my business today. Okay, and you might think this page is really ugly, and it is, but that doesn't matter because ugly sells. On mobile, all the user's going to see is headline and buttons, and that's it. Okay, so I'm just going to go through the elements of this three-step funnel, and then I'm going to show you a little bit of how I built one of the pages in Float Funnels. Okay, so you can see here I have a headline and a subheadline. That's it. Why rent when you can own? Homes from $497 per month in your area. Where did I get that? I simply went to Google, Microsoft. I saw what my competition was doing, and I created headlines and subheadlines of my own. Okay, then I asked them a simple question: how many bedrooms are you looking for? 1 to 2, 2 to 3, or 4. Okay. Whether they click any of these buttons, it goes to the same place. It'll take them to the second page. The second page has the same headline, same subheadline, and a different question: how many bathrooms? 1, 2, 3. Again, doesn't matter which button they click, they will go to the final page, which has the same headline, subheadline. Says, congratulations, enter your best email below to get access. Okay. And you'll notice this is blank here because I have not yet connected my opt-in form. I'm going to show you in the next video how to connect SendPad to Flow Funnels, and then we'll finish this process. But once the user enters in their name and email and clicks submit, they will then be sent to this rent-to-own offer that I found on Max Bounty. Okay, and once they go through here, I get paid, and then I myself am collecting the name and email on SendPad where I can monetize and make money. Okay. The other element to these pages is I have content below the fold. So again, I sort of found this on my competitors. So I found some houses, put some prices beyond them, and then wrote a little blurb here. And then I, of course, have my copyright area and terms of use, privacy policy, and contact. If you click on the terms of use, it takes them out to the pages we created in a previous video. There's the privacy policy. I added this copyright area, and then we have a contact, which if you see in the bottom left is simply mail to, and then I made up an email address. You may not have an email address right now. I would recommend you just go get a free Gmail. You know, in this case, if I was using Survey Locator, I could just say surveylocatorusa@gmail.com. In a future module, future video, we're going to show you how you can get your own mailbox for your business, but that's not super important right now. On all of the pages, the below the fold content is the exact same. This is going to keep you compliant with Microsoft and Google. What I did is I copied all this from another website and I changed the wording around so it's not plagiarized. Okay, all this is my own unique content. I went out and found images of homes from Google. I made up these prices, and there you go. Okay, so in Float Hosting here, all I did was I dragged across a headline, dragged across a subheadline. I moved the subheadline a little bit closer. You can do that in the dimension here with the margins. You see how it's moving up and down, right? You can do that there. You can play around with it. And then same thing, I made the background I added a column here, made the background gray just to, scope it out. I added a button. I played around with the width and the height. You can play around, right? You can make the button bigger, smaller, whatever you want to do, okay? I played around with, I made the button not round. It doesn't matter. Don't overthink it. Don't try to make your button look exactly like mine. Just like play around with the button. Make it look different colors. Make it look, different sizes, whatever works for you. Okay. And then again, I played around with the margin on this. You can see it just goes up and down. Okay. I like to play. There you go. You see how I'm adding the margin. If you want to make it like 100, all right. You want to make it like 50 or like 200. There you go. Okay, so you can play around with that to create space between each element on the lander. Then here, what I did is I dragged across a 3-column, element here. Okay, so then you can see. Let's go and do that again. Actually, 3 columns. Say I added it right there. You see 1, 2, 3. Okay, don't need that though. And then I just added an image and text below the image just by dragging it across. Right. If I wanted to add more text here, I could do that. Right. You see that? So that's all I did. And then below the 3-column area, I think I just deleted something by mistake. There we go. So you can press the undo buttons there. I just added in a whole bunch of text. Okay. And then I added in the nav bar, and we already showed you this in a previous video on how to add links. All right. I added another menu link here for the copyright. All I did was simply copy. See, you can press this copy button and it just duplicates it. And then you can delete them. You see I'm deleting them. Okay. And then I just, instead of having it called terms of use, you just double click here and you can type away. Okay. And that's really it. All right. And then I made this page 3 times over. I had different question on page 2. And then on page 3 here, I will add in an opt-in form. And that's really all it is, okay? One caveat. Sometimes just having an opt-in form works best. Sometimes it's literally as simple to go, why rent when you can own? Homes from $497, and then you have an opt-in form with content below the fold. I would say 80% of the time it works better to have the 3 steps, right? Step 1, step 2, and then an opt-in and an offer. But that 20% of the time, opt-in offer works. So those are really your 2 options. You can have the 3-step funnel or just the 1-step funnel, which is an opt-in page. And one last thing I just think I forgot to show is in order to have these buttons go to the next page, you would just click on the button, click on the settings, and you can see here in the href, I added a link to the step 2 page, okay, on all the buttons, which is just the URL I created for the step 2 page, okay? And yours will be different than mine, but that's what you would do, okay? And then you simply click publish and you're good to go, okay? So now if I actually go through to step 1, you can see in the bottom left corner, if you pause, you'll see all of these buttons go to RTO-step-2. If I click it takes me to step 2. And now you can see all of these go to step 3, okay? And the way that I did that is I, again, added the link into the next page in the step, okay? And you can see I haven't added the form in, but once I do, this would be an opt-in form. That would then send the leads off into my send pad and redirect people to this RTO offer I found on Max Bounty, all right? So that's it for this video. See you on the next one.